Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gauda Padam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Matasya Shishyam Sri Shankaracharya Matasya Padma Padam cha hastamalakam cha shishyam tam totakam vartikakaramanyaan asmadgurun santatamanatosmi shruti smriti purananam alayam karunalayam namami bhagavat padam shankaram loka shankaram shankaram shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Samastajana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidparam Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Avarana tata vikshepau Avarana vikshepau Mayayaha gunau Avranoti Atmanam Tamogunena Tata Vikshepam Karoti Rajasa. And this being the case, Jiva is one who is the victim of these two. So the answer to the question, Onama Bandhaha, is already spoken. Kadamesha Agataha. Kadam Bandhanam Agataha. How this bondage starts. Bandhanasya Arambham, the beginning of the bandhan, bondage, Bhaktum Aravade Uttaram Prashnasya Akanda Iti. So we saw in verse number 139 that is said, Akanda Nitya Advaya Bodha Shakya, right? 130, 139. Akanda Nityadvayabhota Shaktya Spurantam Atmanam Ananta Vaibhavam Samavrunotyavriti Shaktiresha Tamomayi Rahurivarkabimbam. Rahuhu Arkabimbam Avrunoti Tata eva Tamomayi Maya Samyak Avrunoti Avriti Shaktihi Esha. What it is? Akanda Nitya Advaya Bodha Shaktya Spurantam. That which is throbbing because of the presence of awareness, which is indivisible, eternal. Atmanam ananta vaibhavam atmanam avranoti. So this is avarana is the cause. So in the continuing in this verse number 140, we read, it is not in a particular meter as far as I know. Meter is there, but I do not know the tune. But anyway. Tirobhude swatman amalatara tejovadi puman. Anatmanam mohat ahamidi shariram kalayati tada kama krodha pravridibihi amum bandhana gunaihi varam vikshepakya rajasa purushaktihi vyadayati. Having explained about the tamoguna rupa avarana shakti, now rajoguna rupa vikshepa shakti vivaranam. That is what is explained here. Now, here it is, first of all, what is the nature of the self, which is originally what is being covered? That is, first one is, it is amalatara. Amalatara tejovati puman. Amalatara means malam is dirt, amalam is shuddha sattvam. Amalatara tejovati adisvachanna prakashavati. Tejovati means prakashavati. Here again I have explained, prakasha here means not the light like a sunlight or the tube light or anything. Brilliance. Ability to be aware. Tejovati. Swatmani swaswarupe paramatmani. In that one's own self, ajnanagata avarana shaktya tirobhute. The next one, the rajas of vikshepa can take place only when there is avarana. Without the covering of the brilliance of the self, one will not have the effect of rajas, which is in the form of misunderstanding. It is like not knowing the rope is the cause of the projection of the snake. Gurudev would say that is non-perception of the non-apprehension of the rope is the cause for the misapprehension of the snake. Not seeing the post is the cause of seeing the ghost. So, tirobhute, negbhute, hidden. Spashtam abhasamane sati. Even though it is available. Spashtam abhasamane sati. Puman jiva mohat avivekat. What is aviveka? Anatmanam atma binnam shariram deham ahamidi tadatmena kalayati. So one would, because of that misunderstanding, viveka shunyena avivekat, shariram deham ahamidi tadatmena kalayati. Kalayati janati abhimanyate. Things. So this when you read the Bhashya, the important thing notice is how he gives the synonyms. That is what is to be understood very clearly. Janati, abhimanyate, kalayati. So it is a parallel words are used so that we can understand a little more carefully. So, tirobhude swatmani amalatara tejovati puman anatmanam mohat ahamidi shariram kalayati. Now, one meaning is kalayati means janati, as he said. Kalayati means abhimanyate. One. Another means kalayati means creates also. See, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi would say, Aapko daham deha iti jnanam or this awareness, nasti eva swapna avasthayam, sushupti avasthayam api. मैं शरीर हूं ऐसा आपको मन में जो नई वृत्ति नहीं आता है स्वप्न काल में और सुषुप्ति काल में. There is no notion of I am the body in sleep and dream. So when does it start? Or how does it start? This is a very peculiar thing, because if it is always there, then you cannot say it is not there at some point of time, at some point of time it starts. You cannot say that. Some point of time it starts means what? It is not always there. So if kalayati also means it creates it. Now you see, when you are seriously doing something, when you are interested to do some, or watching a movie or watching a game, etc., sometimes you don't even know that you have a body. Or look at the children, small children, they run, then they go there, then, until they fall down, they don't understand. They cry. But until then, they don't, care about how the body is. And it is our Gurudev would say, the child, which is 2-year-old, 3-year-old, it doesn't want to wear a cloth also. It just runs. The mother is in the catch hold of him and put some clothes, especially when they decorate him as a Krishna or something like that. That fellow said, no, you have to wear this. But why? That the idea that time the body is not there. So kalayadi also means utpadayadi. The notion has been created. So mohat kalayadi janadi abhimanyate. That's why abhimanyate. It considers, it thinks, it has a notion. Tataha, thereafter, sharire tadatma abhimananantaram. Tataha, that word is used in the third line. Tataha, thereafter. Taravata. Correct in Telugu? Tarvata. Thereafter. See, it's an English word. Taravata, thereafter became in Telugu. Taravata. Correct? Thereafter. So, Tataha means Sharire Tadatmya Abhimana Anantaram. Later, Amum Purusham, Viksheba Kya Viksheba Namni, what in the name of Viksheba, which is Rajasaha Rajogunasya Urushaktihi. Urushakti means Prabala Shaktihi. Uru means intense, high octave. High octane, not octave, octane. Extremely, intense. Uru Shaktihi Kama Krodha Prabhudibihi. With the, how does the Rajas express, or how does the Viksheba Shakti express as? Anger, lust, passion, greed, jealousy, all that. Amum bandhaga kunaihi kamascha krodascha kama krodo tau prabrudi adi tesham loba damba abhyasuya ahankara isha matsara adhyanam. See, one thing is to study a religious scripture, another is to understand it as a practical thing guiding us to have the right values in place. For example, why I'm bringing that point is, many people, they say religious, but they never control their anger or lust or greed or jealousy. So you say, I am a devotee of Shiva, devotee of Rama, devotee of Krishna, and all these religious marks and all they put, but they never take care of Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Then what's the point? Even so-called religious people can be arrogant, egoistic, angry, lusty, passionate, greedy. So there is a dichotomy between your religious belief versus your physical living or psychological living undergone no change. So that is why it becomes merely ritualistic. Where does the jnanam portion comes? If that rituals are considered as religion, then it doesn't really change you. You see? We don't understand the relevance of religious belief in changing and transforming the person. So the spirituality essentially connects the individual personality to Godhood. Otherwise, there are people who would go and worship God and follow all the festivals, observe so many things and all that. Their anger is not gone, desire is not gone. What is the point then? Tatamina munchadi asha pasha. Right? Even then, asha is gone, pasha is not gone. Then, Dinaya minyo sayam pratah shishira vasanto punarayada kala kridati gacchatyayuhu tadapina manchati ashavayu. Why Bhagavan Shankaracharya has to say that? Even as the time goes day and night, summer and winter, everything, time is playing with you, but you don't change. So, kama krodha prabhudihi, kamascha krodhascha kama krodha prabhudihi, adi yesham, all these things are all te kama krodha prabhudeha te bandaka gunaihi. They are all the ones which binds one. See, that is why it is said, Bhagavan Krishna also says, Shaknodi heva yasodum praksharira vimokshanat kama krodotbhavam vegam sayukta sasukhi naraha. Who becomes the simplest means to happiness? What? Stop the force or withstand the force of kama and krodha. Then you are sukhi nara. So kama krodha pradeta bandaka gunehi adhyasa buddhi hetu bhutehi. Adhyasa buddhi hetu bhutehi. No, adhyasa buddhi hetu. They are the ones which are actually the ones which are projecting the notion of happiness upon the object as well as one's own self. Hetu bhuteihi dharmaihi param atyantam vyatayati shochayati. They cause so much of agitation. So vikshepa shaktihi vyatayati. Vyatayati causes agitation. See, tamoguna does not cause agitation. Why? You are not even there aware of in the state of sleep. I'm angrily sleeping. You cannot angrily sleep. In sleep, there is no anger or desire, anything, right? But I don't even know who I am. So I'm unproductive existent, lazy, like any other chair or table or anything else. A person who's sleeping also equally that, no? At that point, there is neither useful to himself nor useful to anybody else. So tamoguna is avarana. Whereas rajoguna is that where an individual starts to project oneself based upon his understanding, knowledge and whatever, but then most of the time it is selfish. And because of which he projects upon objects and other things, kama, krodha, etc. And because of which, vyatayati, uru shaktihi, vyatayati, causes so much of agitation. Shochayati, dukkha jatilam karoti. It's an intensive sorrow is being. Jatila means aramam. Jatila, meaning where it is creating intense sorrow, etc. Prasiddham hi sharira abhimanavataha tad anukule vastuni kamaha tad alabe krodhaha tallabe lobaha ityadi. Alabe krodhaha. When it is not got whatever desired, not got, there is anger. Tad anukule, when it is happening or when it is following the desirable object, that is kama. Alabe krodhaha, labe lobaha. So, and you get it in a degree. If somebody else gets it, isha. Matsar. You get it, there is greed. If somebody gets it, you have jealous. And if you keep thinking only about it, it's moha. So it is this Uktam hi Gitayam. Oh, he quotes Gita also. Trividam naragasyedam dwaram nashanam atmanah kama krotastata lobha tasmat etatrayam tyajet. Therefore, these three are considered as kama krodha lobha is considered as three gateways to hell. Akrodha, akamaha, alobha eva swargasya dwarani. Then opposite of that. Opposite of that, where the desirelessness, angerlessness, and greedlessness are considered as doorways to heaven, then. Evam ajnanam avarana viksheva shaktibhyam sarva anarthamulam ityuktam punaha vishadayati punarvishadayati mahamoha iti adina. Again, it is explained in the next verse also in a different example here. We see the verse number 141 here. Mahamoha graha grasana, Mahamoha graha grasana, Galidatma avagamano, Diyo nanavasthavasvayam, Abhinayan tadgunataya, Apare samsare, Vishaya vishapure jalanidau, Nimajjon majjayam bramati. Majjayam bramati. Kumatihi kutsita gatihi. Mahamoha graha grasana galita atma avagamana. Single sentence. Mahamoha graha grasana galita atma avagamana. Main sentence is atma avagamana. Atmanam na janati. Avagamanam, atmana anavagamana. Anavagamana means, and here avagamana, so galita atma avagamana. Galita means gone. Devoid of, absence of, galita. Galita what? Atma avagamanam. Where the awareness about oneself is gone. Why? Mahamoha graha grasana galita. So it is a reason is given why an individual is not able to recognize or does not have self-awareness. Because he's been swallowed by a great shark. Mahamoha graha. Graha means crocodile. Crocodile does not have a body. Mouth is the body. Only mouth is there. Just finished. The body is hardly there. This whole body is only the mouth. So Mahamoha graha. The moha, the delusion is that which is a huge shark by which grasana means completely swallowing, galita, devoid of, atma avagamana. So atma avagamana, atma jnanam. And such a intellect, diya, one who has such an intellect, diya, nana avastha swayam abhinayan. Diya nana avastha swayam abhinayan. According to the nature of the buddhi, which has its own peculiarities, abhinayan, following. Abhinayanam is to abhinayanam. If somebody is doing, you do the same thing. In other words, what is known as imitating. Abhinayan tadgunataya, buddhi gunataya. According to the buddhi, whatever thought comes. So what happens? Apare samsare, in that shoreless ocean of samsara, Vishaya Vishapure, which is filled with objects which are like poison, Jalanidau, in the mass ocean water collection, Nimajya, sinking, Unmajya, sinking and waking and coming up. Coming, doob jao or ud jao, doob jao, ud jao. Think about in the ocean when you are there, you're not always drowning, and you come up, again down. And again you come up, grab some air, then you again go. Nimajya unmajya ayam brahmati. This fellow is completely brahmati, wandering there, bewildered. Kumatihi. As what kumati means, dushtamatihi. Kutsidagatihi, negative destination, wrong destination indeed. So this is a description of a person who is in the grip of bondage. So konama bandha kadameshahada, and then slowly is going to kadam pradishta. Asya. So mahamoha graha grasana galita atma avagamanaha mahancha asau mohascha mahamoha. Great indeed is this delusion, druda tara avivekaha. That extreme amount of absence of discrimination, extreme indiscrimination. The word indiscrimination, when you use it, is politically not correct nowadays. So say we say differentiation. Then you go to math, differentiation. My God, that chapter, please don't talk about that. Differentiation, I really had tough time understanding. Don't even go there. But discrimination is okay, even if it is politically wrong, doesn't matter. So, Dridhatara aviveka, sayeva graha. What is this here shark is referring to? Aviveka. What is this aviveka you are talking about? See, we cannot take aviveka in the literal sense. Atma, anatma, aviveka. This difference you cannot see. That is what is aviveka. Atmani tada anatmani beta buddhihi nasti. आत्मा से अनात्म को भेद करना उसका नहीं आता है. How to differentiate between self and the not self. And other thing is, he mistakes one for another. That's another problem. Anyonya sadatmya. Atma anatma jaisa dikhta hai, anatma atma jaisa dikhta hai. There's a problem there. So last class we saw, remember, last class is beautiful. Yeah. One is mistaking the rope to be a snake. The other one, you remember, taking a snake to be a rope is a greater danger. So at least when you mistake a rope to be a snake, it is not causing any trouble. But if you take snake to be a rope, think about it. So if you don't understand Atman, and you project the idea of the body on that, it's okay. But if you think body itself is Atman, then what will you do? Body itself is a self. Rakshasa Janma, that is. That's why that, what is his name? Virochana. Virochana and the Indra, both of them went to the same teacher only, but Virochana totally misunderstood. Shariraya Atma. That is to say, snake itself as a rope. So it's a dangerous one. So here, Makaraha, Grahaha Makaraha, the crocodile, Tasya Grasanam. Grasanam is Tat Kartuka Nigaranam, swallowing. His nature is to swallow. Tena Galitam, Galitam Nashtam, Atma Abagamanam. So dena nashtam, because of which there is absence of destruction of atma avagamanam, atmanaha avagamanam, samyak jnanam yasya saha. So where then our ability to realize one's own nature as awareness is almost completely gone. Anavabuddhyamana yadatmya ityartha. Anavabuddhyamana, unable to know. Avabodha means to know. Anavabuddhyamana. Na buddhyamana. Not able to think about it, not able to think. See, many times some people want to listen to Vedanta, it's one thing is to listen and then think that, it's difficult to know. Some people say, I don't want to know. They go to the other extreme. Swami, please don't talk about Atman Brahma. Just don't talk about it. I just don't want to know because I'm happy with my ignorance. Don't disturb that. It's like somebody is sleeping and you wake him up. If somebody is pretending to sleep, what will you do? Can you wake up a person who is pretending to sleep? Even if he wakes up, he said, I don't want to wake up, but then he goes to sleep again. So what happens? Diyaha buddhehe nana avastaha. Then various conditions of the buddhi, bahuvidan parinaman. Various kinds of vrittis that are taking place, emotions and feelings and thoughts and memories, and all the impressions that are coming into the body. See, just if you start watching your buddhi, you realize how much intense are the past experiences that are dictating present conditions of our thinking. How intense. Every experience that we go through must leave an impression, whether deep or even shallow. But even those shallow experiences or shallow impressions can also come up as thoughts and disturb you. So, tad gunataya tasyaha gunaha yasya saha. Tad gunaha tad upahitataya. As all following that, tad adinataya. Only following that with no help. Yavat upadehe pradibimba pakshapaditvat. Upadehe pradipakshapaditvat. Pradibimba pakshapaditvat. Because it is in the upadis, it is expressing the buddhehe gunaha. Prasiddham hi jale chalati tatra vasamana surya pradibimbobi chalati. Like that of a pradibimba reflection seem to be changing or moving as the water is moving. Best example is when little amount of clouds are there and you look up in the night and the moon looks like running. Moving moon, where it doesn't move. But when the clouds are moving, it looks like the moon is moving. That is one example. Second example here, what he says, then the moving water, as though the reflected thing also is as though they are also changing. So tatra basamana surya pradibimbobi chalati iti samanasan ubhau lokau anusancharati Sadi swapno bhutva dhyayati iva lelayati iva idishrutehe. Because the consciousness is attached to the thoughts and therefore it as though the consciousness is doing everything. Lelayati, dhyayati iva, thinking and moving about in that way. Anusancharati. So, swayam abhinayan swasmin aropayan. Abhinayan here means swasmin aropayan. Having superimposed upon oneself, apare, anavati, vishaya pure, vishayaha eva visham. In this world, which is why it's called apara samsara, which is filled with objects which are like poison, Vishaya Visham Yastasya Puraha Pravaha. Continuous flow of the objects which are poisonous. Earlier also he said, Visham Hanti, the Visham will destroy a person when you consume it. But Vishayaha, when looking at it, is sufficient. Visham is only when you drink, but Vishaya, when you look at it, is enough. So, tasya pura pravata. Yatra saha Vishaya Vishapuraha tasmin samsare jalanidau samsara rupa samurdre saptami samanadikaranatva artika. Because all of them are in saptami. As you see, apare, samsare, Vishaya Vishapure, jalanidau. All the four of them are in saptami, to say that they are all samanadikaranas, are same meaning of the same gender and case. In the seventh case, and all of them. Aparaha, samsaraha, Vishaya Vishapuraha, jalanidhi, all of them. So, case, name and gender. What do you call CNG? CNG is not just, what do you call that? CNG is natural gas. No. No, in India they say CNG, right? What is called liquid natural gas. There in India, it's CNG. I think so. Yeah, CNG. Anyway, here it is case, name, noun, and gender. Case, number, and gender. That's called CNG. Case, seventh case, number, singular, gender, male. So, apare, samsare, Vishaya Vishapure, jalanitau. So, in that, jalanitau, which is Kumatihi, Kutsita, Abrahmagamini. Kutsita meaning Abrahmagamini Buddhi, where the mind does not go to the Brahman. Matihi, Buddhihi, Yasya Saha, Kumatihi. So Kumatihi means Kutsita Matihi. But again he says Kutsita Gadihi. Both are Kutsita. Kutsita Gadihi, Ayam Puman, Nimajya, Unmajya, Aswatantraha. So a person who is slinking in this huge ocean of water with no support, has no independence at all. He has to get going according to the nature of the water. If it is deep, he will get completely drowned. If it is moving, then it will go along with that. If it is moving around like a whirlpool, he will get caught up in that. Or it is waves are there, he will go up along with the waves and come down along with the waves. So that's why he says, Aswatantraha Adhogatva Urdhvamagatya Brahmadi. Goes down. As the water goes down, goes up. So if somebody is going in that, what are they going? White water rafting. Interesting thing is, I was told, so Rishikesh has become a destination for all the honeymooners now, because they do all the white water rafting. All the munis have gone because honeymoonies have come. Mahamunis have departed from there because honeymoonies have come. So they are all there, crowded up. I was told the whole place become a destination for all the honeymooners now, because they jump into the water and go. When we went in 2018 or something, also we saw there are so many new, what do you call that? Bungee jumping, and then what do you call that rope? What do you put? Skyline. No, that's something else I do. Zipliners. Zipline. Everything has come there. So this rishis and munis were sitting there quietly, because it's a Rishikesh. So that place is meant for the rishis. Gone.
Where did they go?
Honeymoon. What they further go deeper into the caves only. There also they'll come. Honeymoonies. So Mahamunis have gone. So here, going up and down, like the white water rafting there. Urdhvam, Adogatva, Urtamagatya, Brahmati. Avashikrita buddhehe, because being the intellect or the mind being uncontrolled, indriya lolyena, because of the playful nature of the senses, Vishaya adhinataya, because being depending upon the Vishayas, Bhranti parampara na samsara para Brahma praptiriti bhavaha. Therefore, there is no Brahma prapti. Crossing over the samsara is not possible, and that is what is called konama bandha kadam esha agataha. That is explained here. Swakaryasyabi tirodhayakatvam sa drishtantamaha. So now again, another drishtanta, another example is being given to show how it is covering the nature of the self and making a person suffer the samsara. So in the next verse number 142. Banu prabha sanjanida abrapanktihi Banum tirodayayata vijrumbate. This is different here. Okay. Atmoditaham kritiratmatatvam tata tirodaya vijrumbade swayam. Banu prabha sanjanida prabhanktihi Banu tirodaya vijrumbade yata Atmodidaham kritiratmatatvam tata tirodaya vijrumbade swayam. So here main point is Atma Tattvam Tirodaya Swayam Vijrumbate. Ahankritihi Swayam Vijrumbate. Ahankara is establishing its regime here. Its own presence. Ahankritihi Atma Udita Ahankritihi. Where does it come from? This ahankar has no other birth other than the self alone. Atma udita ahankritihi Atma Tattvam Tirodaya. Having covered the Atma Tattvam, Vijrumbade Swayam. It starts to appear. Like the example is what? Banum Tirodaya Abrapanktihi Vijrumbade. That's the idea. The cluster of clouds having covered the sun, it remains as the covering of the sun. The interesting thing is, clouds are born out of the sun only. Banu prabha sanjanita. Banu Surya. Surya kiranaihi sanjanita. So the clouds cannot be without the sun. Sun alone has created the clouds. So the water of the ocean, when heated up by the sun, and they become lighter, and then they form the clouds. And the clouds, what they do? Go and cover the sun. How ungrateful. Similarly, ahankara, born out of Atman, going and covering Atman itself. What an interesting, but it's not covering, but appears to be. Like sun cannot be covered by the clouds. But from our standpoint, it looks like it has been covered. Similarly, ahankara apparently covers the Atman. So, Banoho Sarisuryasya Prabhaya Kiranaihi. Prabha is brilliance or light, but here it is being taken as the rays. Prabhaya Kiranaihi Sanjanita Samutpadita, produced. Abra Panktihi. Pankti means line, row. In Tamil, it will become Pandi. Pandi Mundi. Go and sit first for the food. So the Mundi means go first. So Pankti is Pankti actually in Sanskrit, Pankti. Abra Pankti, the row of clouds. Apaha Vibrati idi Abrani Megaha. Ab means water. Vibrati, Bra means Vivarti. Bra means to hold, to support, to carry. Bru Bharati, Bhara. So Apaham, Apaha, Apa is water. Abra means the one which is carrying the water. So therefore, Apaha Vibrati idi Abrani. Vibrati iti, yeah. Megaha, Tesham Panktihi Mala. Pankti means a row or the like a garland or a string of. Grishme Surya Kiranaihi Akrishta Apha Eva Megatmana Bhavanti iti Prasiddhihi. Surya Kiranaihi Grishme, in the hot sun, when the sun's rays Akrishta, attracted or taken, grasped, Apaha Eva, the water alone, Megatmana Bhavanti, they becomes the clouds. Iti Prasiddhihi, Sa Megamala, that very Megamala, the garland or the string of clouds, Swa Utpadagam Banum, the very origin of them, which is known as Surya, Surya Tirodaya, Suryam Tirodaya, Avritya, having covered, Tada Vijrumbade Swayam, by themselves becomes a appearance there, Puro Bhavati. So, Tat Kiranaiva Jadatvam Tat Tirodaya Swayam Avabhasamanatvam Cha Idi Sarvamsho Drishtantaha. Drishtanta is to become closer to the what you want to convey. What you want to convey, that which is born out of a thing itself is covering the very source. Like that of the cloud which is born out of the sun is itself covering the sun. That is the Drishtanta. Tata, in the same way, Atma Udita Ahankritihi. Atmana Udita Ahankritihi. By meaning what? Atma Sakashad Udita Utpanna Ahankritihi. So, ego or the Ahankar is not an independent entity. It is a misunderstanding in the form of misunderstanding of the self or I as I thought. A thought is, as you know, as I have told you many, many times, a thought cannot be without an object. The object can be not necessarily a physical object. An object of thought need not be an entity, an object, a thing. It can be an emotion, it can be a feeling, it can be a memory. Anything that you identify as needed to you, wanted by you, important to you, that becomes object. It cannot be an object, a physical object only. It can be a feeling, it can be a memory, it can be an experience, it can be an impression. Anything that you think as important. Anything, happiness, sorrow. Even when I think of something which happened the day before, or 10 years back, which has not been forgotten by me, that becomes an important thing to think about. That becomes the object of my thought. So without an object, there cannot be a thought. So what is the relationship between the object and the self? When the self, the consciousness, identifies with a particular thought process or thought, whichever it can be an object, as I said, then it becomes a transactional event. Some of the masters would say it is fragmentation of consciousness. Like people like Krishnamurti and such people, they say it is a fragmenting consciousness, meaning consciousness divided. Divided consciousness. A divided consciousness is otherwise known as a conditioned consciousness. Meaning, if there is a thing which is a homogeneous one and there is a break, that the break itself is called a fragmented. And the more thoughts, more fragmentation takes place. This fragmentation of consciousness is called ahankar. So what happens, think about it, the water, when it is produced and it starts fragmenting into clouds. You see, the clouds are nothing but water-laden entity. It starts to cover the very sun because of which it is born. Similarly, consciousness is behind every thought, and when the object is more important than the subject, the object obscures the subject. That is what is called Tadatmya Bhava or Ahankar. Where the self is forgotten, the object becomes important. See, when I have a desire and attachment towards an object, I forget myself. I forget that I am Ananda Swarup. I am of the nature of bliss. And I think that that particular object alone can give me happiness. So I have given more importance to the object than the subject. So therefore, here it says, Atma Adina Atmanaha Sakashat, because of the proximity of the self, Udita Utpanna, Ya Ahankritihi, Dehado Aham Pratyaya Atma Adina Satta Spurtim Purtimanapi Atma Tattvam Atma Yadatmyam Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavatmam Thirodaya. Having covered this pure, ever-present and awareful Ananda Atma, having Thirodaya, Tadiya Sputamanam, similar to that, Tadiya Sputamanam, Pradibandya, Swayam Vijrumbade. And by itself, it is shining forth as independently. Puraha Spurtikaha Bhavati. Puraha means, here the word Pura comes from the words Tirodaya Vijrumbade Swayam. There, completely it is covering. Vijrumbade Swayam. No, the Puraha is not even here. It's not given here. Okay. It is completely Spurtikaha Bhavati. Hankritihi Buddhirva Tasya Apihi Atmanaha Sakashad Utpannatvat Vijnanamaya Koshatvena Tad Akarakatvacha. So in the Vijnanamaya Kosha, it is what is considered as the one which is full Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is Buddhi is the most proximate to the self, and therefore it completely enveloped by the Ahankar. See, why Vijnanamaya Kosha? Because that is the subtlemost, and beyond that is Anandamaya Kosha, where Ahankara is not there. In the state of Anandamaya Kosha, there cannot be any Ahankar, for Buddhi is not there at that point. Buddhi is Galita. And then in the state of sleep, you don't have, I know how much I slept, you don't know. I'm great to that, I greatly slept. There's no Ahankar there about sleeping. About any other achievement, you can say, I'm best, what, I can sleep for 8-10 hours. What is this? This is the great thing that you did. So there is no Ahankar there because the Karta is not there. So the Buddhi is considered the subtlemost and the closest to the self. Idanim avarana viksheva shakti karyam sputa sadrishtandamaha kabalita iri. So next verse is going to explain about both the avarana and viksheva together. The power of agitating and wheeling, as Gurudev puts it here. Kavalita dinanate durdine sandramegaihi Vyatayadi himajanja vayuragdau yatetan. Avirita tamasatmani avrite moda buddhihi. Buddhim. Avrite moda buddhim. Buddhihi or buddhim is written. Buddhim, correct. Kshapayadi bahudukkais tivra vikshepa shakti. Kavalita dinanate durdine sandramegaihi vyatayadi himajanja vayuragro yateitan avarita tamasatmani avrate moda buddhim shabhayadi bahadukkai tivra vikshepa shakti. Kavalita, grasta, devoured, swallowed, dinanate. So, just as the cloudy day, sandramegaihi. So, cloudy day when the sun is swallowed up. Dinanate. Dinanata is dinasya nataha. Nata. Nata is the Lord of the day. Gvalita dinanate. Kavalita dinanate. When the sun has been swallowed up. What? By what? Durdine. Sandramegaihi. By the clouds, rainy clouds. Then dense clouds. Then what happens? Vyatayati. One comes to suffer what? Hima janja vayu ragro etan. Because of the sun being covered, the heat of the sun being covered by the rainy clouds or the clouds in dense clouds, a person comes to suffer the cold wind. Hima janja vayu rugra. Jinja means the cold, but during the winter when you have the cold wind, what nowadays coming as, what do you call that? Storms. So how that cold wind comes to make one suffer, in the same way, avirata, nirantara. Tamasatmani avrite. So when the self has been covered by the avarana shakti, muda buddhim kshapayati. It comes to comes to have the muda buddhi. So foolish man, muda buddhim, you hear meaning. What it does, the avarana shakti, what it does, muda buddhim kshapayati, bahudukkaihi kshapayati. With so much of sorrow, it is coming to persecute. Kshapayati. Bahudukkaihi. Tivra vikshepa shaktihi. So one is to not, as it is given, many examples are given to show, just like the sun has been covered by the clouds leading to an individual suffering the cold wind. See, the cold wind and the hot sun, they are independent entities. When the hot sun is there, the cold wind will not affect as much as it would do when the sun is covered. The sun is bright, sun is there, and the cold wind is also there. Then you won't feel it. The moment the clouds come to cover it, then you will see how. Because when we go to Kailash also, it's very peculiar. You will feel like wearing the first, second layer, third layer, because of course it is cold. It is at 18,000 feet. So you feel, because the wind will be very cold. But on one turn during the day, you have a direct sun there. Not direction, direct sun. When the direction changed, you have a direct sun. Then such a heat, because you are closer to the sun, obviously, 19,000, 18,000 feet closer to the sun. The intense heat, remove that. Okay, remove it, and you feel the heat of the sun. Then turn, other turn. Sun is not there. So you don't know whether, so that's why you wear in layers. If you wear it without layers, then you will never be able to remove it. So in the same way, the sun's light is there or heat is there and the cold wind is there, you will not feel it as much. See, why it is given the very example is the Vikshepa Shaktihi, Maya Shaktihi. It's the nature of Maya. So Ajnana is of two kinds as we have been seeing. Ajnana has two parts. One is the Avarana and another is Vikshepa. Vikshepa can be caused by Prarabdha. See, Prarabdha brings situations in our life and our sense organs, etc. are also in touch with the objects and things, and that is all there. You cannot say a Jivan Mukta, when he touches a fire, it won't be burning him. It will burn. Who will say it doesn't burn? Today morning in the other class also I was asking this question. If a person is entering into the dream knowing that it's a dream, what will be his reactions? If you enter your dream knowing that it's a dream, what will be your reaction to situations that happen in the dream? So not only, but people will be interacting with you, they'll be talking, they will be causing disturbance or sorrow or joy or whatever it is, or even the sense organs will still give you the input of this is hot, this is cold. If it is sun, it is hot. It is moon, it is cold. Or if the fire is hot, the sense organs will continue to give those reports. It won't stop. So just like a person who is knowing he's in a dream and yet interacting with the dream object, what would be his interactions with the world? He understands the nature of the things that are going on as temporary or false, but does not deny that it is not there. It is there, but as far as I am concerned, it does not leave impressions.
He doesn't take it seriously? He will not take it seriously?
He will not turn that into impressions. It will not leave impressions on his mind. What leaves impressions in the mind is what we give reality. See, you go to a magic show, you entertain and enjoy, but you don't give reality to it. Oh, he's a very good entertainer, but I know that it is false. So you may appreciate that person, but that doesn't mean that you will change anyway because look at that person. So in the same way, Vikshepa Shaktihi will have a more effect when this Avarana of Tamas will be there. The Ajnana removes the Avarana. Avarana it removes. Meaning the Surya is no more clouded, covered. So what happens? The wind comes, the effect is less. The effect is less or not, because the heat of the sun is still there. So the cold wind cannot affect him as much as the other way around, where a person is suffering more because of absence of sun heat. The sun's heat refers to Sattva, Rajasne. The Sattva and Viveka. And Tamas is the Avarana, covering, and Rajas is the disturbance. So Vikshepa will be there as if, but that intensity of the Vikshepa will be far, far less because of his Sattva Pradhana, because of Viveka Buddhi, because of which Tamas is not there. So such an individual, even as he experiences the worldly things as he goes by in this world, because of Prarabdha, until then, such an individual will have less effect. He will not, as it is said, he will not get suffered. Not kshapayati. Bahudukkai not kshapayati. Sorrows of things. See, he will also have a body, it will also fail, it will also start suffering old age, and then that will be there. But whether he suffers or not is a question. Others may see him, oh, poor thing, how much he must be suffering. He will laugh. What are you talking suffering? Who is suffering? So that we have seen in Gurudev also. What? This is not suffering. This is body suffering. I'm not that. So that, Mahatmas only can demonstrate to us. So, khatayati bahudukkaihi tivra vikshepa shaktihi. We'll see more of it in the next class. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschit dukkhabhat bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.